Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today. This is the second session in our four-part iGear and Ignition webinar series, Unlock Factory Insights, No-Code Dashboards with Ignition and SQUEAKS. I'm Brooks Corfidge, the Sales and Integrator Program Lead, and today I'm joined by Sydney Wall, Customer Success Engineer. Across this series, we'll show how Ignition and SQUEAKS work together to extend alarm visibility, drive action, and accelerate response time. Together, the platforms keep teams connected, improve accountability, and reduce downtime. In today's work environment, each team member is usually accountable for monitoring roughly half a dozen to a dozen key metrics and KPIs every day. This can include things like production performance, quality, downtime, and efficiency. These KPIs often originate from multiple different data sources and systems. This can include Ignition, CMMS, ERP, MES, and others, resulting in data being scattered across various different platforms used throughout your plant. To keep up with the modern demands of manufacturing, team members need clear, organized visibility into their key trends, with access to relevant data all in one place. Organization extends visibility and focused access to only the data that pertains to them is essential in today's multi-system manufacturing environment. In today's customer's use case, this company needed a better way to easily track performance across key areas within their operation. Like many manufacturers, their Ignition data was already flowing through powerful reporting platforms, including Ignition Perspective, Power BI, and Grafana, to name a few. And these tools provide great insights into historical and detailed performance data. But when it came to live real-time visibility, they struggled. So their team frequently went to their Ignition developers for new dashboards, but those requests often piled up. The developers already had a full workload. Creating custom dashboards for every department simply was not sustainable. This meant teams had to wait, sometimes weeks or months, depending on the situation, to really see the data that pertained to them that they needed for that given project. That's really where SQUEAKS came in. SQUEAKS works alongside these existing platforms, focusing on what's happening now rather than historical trends. Instead of digging through various criteria sets and filters for live information, users get a snapshot of current performance across their operation in real time. They also wanted more flexibility and visibility. So with SQUEAKS drag and drop no-code dashboards, teams can now create and adjust their own dashboards. So there's no developer required. For example, if the quality team wanted to start a new project and wants to track a few KPIs pertaining to that project, they could spin up a dashboard in minutes instead of waiting in line for those developers to get to their specific needs. So data within SQUEAKS dashboards can be pulled from multiple sources. This can include Ignition, giving every department a unified view of operations all in one place. So team members can view this data from anywhere, eliminating proximity constraints. Managers and team leaders can access this information instantly right from their mobile devices to see how the plant's performing in real time, no matter where they are, and even on the go on a work trip. So by implementing SQUEAKS, the company eliminates dashboard bottlenecks and empowers their teams to build and update visualizations independently, whatever is pertaining to them. So now they can monitor performance, identity trends, and make data-driven decisions all from one centralized, easy-to-use platform. And that's what we'll be covering today.
Yeah, so in SQUEAKS, there's going to be two main ways we're able to display those KPIs to make them more visible and actionable. That's going to be metrics and data sets. So SQUEAKS metrics are designed to show real-time data focusing on a single piece of information over a defined period of time. These metric values can be generated in several different ways, including automatically by sending data through the SQUEAKS API, by using iGear's Connect platform, or they can even be entered manually through the SQUEAKS web application. Data sets, on the other hand, work a little bit differently. And instead of showing a single value, data sets are going to display tables of data pulling directly from a SQL or Oracle database. But just like metrics, they can also be updated automatically through that Squeaks API or Connect, giving you kind of flexible options for how that data is going to flow into your dashboards. So in Squeaks, there's 4 different widgets for specifically displaying metrics in a dashboard. So each of those widgets really provides kind of a unique way to visualize that real-time data. Towards the top right of the screen, that quality metric is going to be a basic widget, which is just going to show that current value of a metric. Those can be color coded for some quick, maybe status recognition, or if it's above target, for example. To the left of that one is going to be a gauge widget. So that's going to display the current value on kind of a predefined scale, which is really good for showing whether performance is within that target range. The 2 to the left of that assembly quality and paint quality, those are going to be 2 different chart widgets, which are going to show that current value plus a few recent history. So you can kind of see where that data is trending. And for those, you're able to choose between an area chart, a bar chart, or a line chart. At the bottom, you can kind of see there's going to be multiple metrics there in a list format that's going to be coming from our list widget, which displays multiple metrics and their values kind of side by side, which is really useful for doing some quick comparison across several KPIs. All of these views really give some flexibility from simple snapshots to kind of trending data, depending on what's really most useful for those specific data points or for your team. In addition to metrics, Squeaks also uses data sets to display more detailed and structured data. These data sets can be added to the dashboard through that list widget that we just looked at, or a chart widget, kind of giving users a table or chart style view of that information. So when bringing in a data set to a list widget, it'll bring in rows of a table directly from your database, and you're able to kind of configure some property columns within the database to kind of dynamically change the appearance of that data based on some real-time values or conditions in the data. So for example, in this dashboard we're looking at, when one of those faults is in that open state, that row is displaying red. So it's drawing attention to those active issues. But once that fault kind of transitions into a claimed or a resolved state, that row is going to automatically return to that white or any other neutral color to kind of give you that visual feedback to be able to quickly identify and prioritize the current problems without needing to go in and read maybe every single line on that list. When you're displaying a data set within a chart widget, you're actually able to turn that data more into a chart, a visual graph, or a trend view by assigning specific columns from your data set as the X and Y axis on that chart view. So each data set is going to have like live information refreshing in real time as that new data is received. You can see a couple faults coming in on this data set. And those updates can come from a couple different sources. We touched on this, connected database, that SQUEAKS API, or the iGear Connect platform, really making this perfect for displaying things like production counts, downtime events, or maintenance records, maybe in all an organized view. So when using Ignition to populate those metrics or data sets in Squeaks, there's going to be a couple different ways you can set that up. The first one we're going to look at is using the Squeaks REST API. So when you're in Ignition, depending on how frequently or how you want to send that data, there's going to be a couple different ways. At the top here, you can see you can use a script within an alarm pipeline. So in this setup, when that tag value changes, the script is going to automatically send that new value to Squeaks, updating the corresponding metric in real time. Another option, you can see it at the bottom, is to use a gateway timer script. So this will maybe run on a set interval, sending data from Ignition into Squeaks at those predetermined times. For example, it could be every 5 minutes or every hour, like it shows in this example. But both approaches really make it easy to keep those metrics and data sets updated with machine data directly from Ignition, depending on how you want to have it updated. Another way to get that data from Ignition to Squeaks is by sending it to a database and then pulling that data in as a data set. So in Ignition, you can see that you can use that log journal shipment feature to send that tag data or event data to a SQL or Oracle database. And then once that data is in that database, Squeaks is able to connect directly to those databases and bring that information in as a data set, allowing you to display it in those dashboards alongside other data sources. So this approach works really well for handling maybe some larger sets of historical data or perhaps data you already have sent to a database. So now that we've covered bringing in that data from Ignition, we're going to be able to use that data, those metrics, those data sets to create live no-code dashboards in Squeaks. So these dashboards aren't just limited to Ignition data. You can also bring in other sources all on one screen so you can get a clear view of all of your KPIs at one time. So within the dashboard editor, we're basically going to drag and drop some different widgets to build custom dashboards, which allows you to really highlight the data that's most important to you and your team and organize it exactly how your team needs to see it. This makes it really easy to create those dashboards that are flexible and interactive so your team can see and act on that data that really matters the most. So Squeaks makes it really easy to customize these dashboards using the drag and drop widgets. You're going to simply drag a widget onto your screen and resize it to fit your layout. Beyond those metric and data set widgets that I talked about before, Squeaks provides a couple additional tools to kind of help you tailor those dashboards to your needs. One of those is going to be the text widget. So that's going to be great for adding titles, section headers, or labels to kind of organize your data when they're coming in from multiple sources. Also have a time widget, which is going to show the current time, date, and weather, as well as a web page widget, which lets you embed some live web pages directly into your dashboard so you could monitor some websites maybe if you need to see those, as well as an image rotator, which can cycle through multiple images, which is perfect for showing different maybe images that are relevant to that dashboard, maybe some images to show maybe how to do something, for example. So once that widget is placed, you can see on the right-hand side, there's a properties panel that kind of gives you control over that specific widget's appearance and content, depending on which widget it is. For example, this widget that we are picking in this dashboard here, you can select which metric or data set that widget will display. But for some other widgets, you can customize the font sizes, maybe some coloring and some formatting to kind of customize that data to be seen more visually how you need to see it. Some widgets allow you to adjust the chart or gauge type. So like I mentioned, you can have a line chart or a bar chart, or some of those gauges you can have in either a semicircle or a full circle type. As you build these dashboards, you're able to preview them at any time to kind of make sure it looks and functions the way that you want. And this really lets users design their dashboards themselves that match their specific needs and focus areas. So these Squeaks dashboards can really combine that data from multiple sources all within a single view, really allowing teams to see all of the information from their different systems together in one place, reducing that time it takes to get all that data that might be relevant to how you might go forward in a certain event. So in this example, you can see at the top, it's going to show some data coming in from Ignition. So that line status, that run rate. In the center, you're going to have some data coming in from a CMMS. So we've got some work order completion rates, some mean time to repair data, And then at the bottom, you can see that data is coming from an MES system. So some cycle time information, some line state information, and you're able to see all of that data in one view. So bringing those sources together really helps those users get a more complete picture of the overall performance without having to switch between all of those different applications and really extending that visibility from all of those different applications you have today into one platform so you can have a more condensed view of that. So I'm going to turn it back over to Brooks to kind of talk about all of the different places you can view that.
Thanks, Sydney. So as mentioned earlier with Squeaks, you can view the data from multiple different sources, and this can include Ignition through our no-code. It's accessible anywhere, anytime. So on the far left, you'll see our mobile application. Really, you're able to view an iPhone, an Android device, or even a tablet, which actually is on the far right as well. Just showing you the ability to have extended visibility from no matter where you are on your mobile application. So what we're trying to do here is eliminate those proximity constraints, as I was mentioning earlier in our presentation. You can also access dashboards directly within Microsoft Teams, a platform many of our customers use every day for their communication and collaboration. So really already pulling in this new data set or new dashboard ability into a platform you're already comfortable in utilizing. For production displays, we offer what we call Squeaks TV, which can actually rotate between multiple dashboards on a timer. It's a great way to showcase key data points without overcrowding a single screen. So you're able to kind of chop it up into different dashboards and then rotate it to make sure everyone on the plant or on your phone, or mainly out on the plant for production display, not overcrowding that board. So you're able to rotate it and have everyone have more clear extended visibility of what's happening within that production area. And lastly, there's our one source board. You'll see that at the bottom right. It's really designed to enhance your team meetings by bringing multiple dashboards together into a single pane of glass. It makes it easy to view performance data, trends, and priorities all in one place. So really together, these tools give your team extended visibility and flexibility to make more informed decisions, really anywhere, anytime that you're using a mobile app, your computer, or if you're out on the production floor. So keeping everyone on the same page of what's happening within your plant and your operations. So to conclude, thanks again for joining us today for our second session of our Better Together iGear and Ignition webinar series. Our next session is on November 18th at 11:30 a.m., where we'll cover Ignition, Views, and OneSource to elevate your meetings and troubleshooting sessions. So we'll send over today's recording shortly after when we get off this call. And we hope to have you join us for the next session. If you have any questions, please reach out to me directly. Happy to help. Hope you guys have a great day.